Hello, I'm Jonathan from Boredom Sated,
And I'm Boris from Boredom Sated.
and today we are going to continue our creature comparison. We are going into something a little different, but it's a lot of fun. It is the Green Hag.
You want a cookie?
So, what is a hag? That's really the question that we have to ask. So, a hag in mythology is generally thought of as the evil witch, the crone, the in most people are going to automatically go to the witch from Hansel and Gretel. That is going to be your automatic, or the evil enchantress, or do you want an apple? Things along those lines. And really,
Yep.
the Green Hag, which is the one we're doing today, is that. It's the witch that lives in the forest, and you come up against her, and she can do basically whatever she wants, look like whatever she wants, and trick you into murder, 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 death, 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 death.
Yes. And I mean, definitely the witch from Hansel and Gretel is a famous hag, but Baba Yaga in Eastern European is a hag. And
Absolutely.
yep. And so we definitely have a wide not a huge amount of, but we do have famous hags from all around the world.
And that does bring it to the idea that at least that the hag does come from Old English, at least the name hag. So it comes from the Middle Ages. The concept, the concept of the hag has been around forever, or for at least 1,000 years, in England, in Germany, in Denmark, and of course, Baba Yaga has been around forever. So in
Right.
Russia.
Yep. And we do understand that there's multiple hags and everything, and the reason we did go with the green hag because we feel that is the closest to the mythology and the pop culture of what a hag is.
Exactly.
Yep.
But before we get into the stat bonuses and changes, we do have one other thing to say, which is that looking at our numbers, like 5% of our videos are watched by subscribers. So please like, subscribe. We want to be able to make the channel better, make it so that I can put up something that makes it look like you're not seeing my living room and my kitchen. So, and make it so that when we look at Boris, you don't see a towel in his background coming through. So
Well,
please
yeah,
like, subscribe, and all that jazz.
you don't like my library?
I don't like it when you move to one side and we see a
Get
towel
out.
in place of the stairwell.
Yes. Uh,
Anyway,
so yes. So the hags, I think, between fifth edition and Pathfinder 2e are very similar. I mean, they are one separate by a level, but that I don't think takes away from them in any sort of way. It's another one of those creatures that is they're very, very similar to the fifth edition and the Pathfinder 2e. Which are far and few in between.
exactly. So,
Yeah.
as usual, I'll start with the D&D stats. The CR for the Green Hag is a CR3, not very high. She has innate spells, but they're only cantrips. And she it's kind of a mixed bag as well, as she can, I guess she has bard cantrips because she can cast vicious mockery. She can change her form at will. However, if you touch her, she will still feel like her. So that's an interesting and neat part of the role playing aspect to her illusionary form. She can breathe underwater because she is a forest hag, swamp hag, that kind of. Well, actually, swamp hag is a different creature, but she's a forest hag essentially. So she can breathe underwater. And she also has the ability to turn invisible pretty much at will. As long as she holds concentration, she can stay invisible. As soon as she attacks, she loses invisibility, anything like that. The other thing that I should mention about her is that for her CR, her hit points and AC are incredibly high. She has a natural AC natural AC of 17, and she has 80 something hit points. Yeah, she has 82 hit points. For a CR3, that's pretty freaking high. The only other real thing that needs to be mentioned about her is the one thing that's kind of, well, two other things that need to be mentioned. One, she has mimicry, so she can sound like any animal or humanoid. The mimicry has a DC of 14 to be able to tell if it's not the actual creature. And the one disappointing thing about her, which is that her only real attack, because she's not high enough level to have Vicious Mockery even do 2d4, is +6 to hit claw.
Yep. So for the Pathfinder 2e version, it's very similar. She also has innate spells, which are invisibility at will, tree shape at will. She has cantrip, which count as, because of her creature level, as a second level, which is Acid Splash, Dancing Light, Ghost Sound, and message. She has a constant tongues up and water breathing, which is in line with what the 5th edition, and Pass Without Trace. She can change shape, and she has a couple of ability related to her touch, but they are not that devastating for a 4th level creature. But in the same manner, for a 4th level creature, she does have a very high AC and a high hit point count within Pathfinder 2.
So, as you can see, now we do want to go into the other role-playing aspect that is added in for for Pathfinder 2. But another thing that hags get in general, and something you can do with hags, which we'll bring into the how to play hags, is the coven aspect. There are rules for the Vampire Coven. The rules for the Hag Coven in both versions, 5th edition and in Pathfinder 2. For the Hag Coven, they increase in level from CR3 to CR5, and they get a bunch of additional spells. They have a couple of additional abilities, which are very strong, but I don't want to go super far into that. But the idea is that you don't want to dealing with a single hag is not that big a deal. Dealing with a coven of hags, that is a campaign, like that is the early part of a campaign to try to deal with. Taking out one hag and then fighting against the rest of their coven because they're trying to get revenge is a very cool hook to be able to get through for maybe like 3rd through 6th or 7th level.
Right. And the same thing for Pathfinder 2. The coven increases the level, and even though it might not increase their level appropriately, they are granted 8th level and 5th level spells, which really puts them up in power, even though they only go up slightly depending on the number of members. I mean, yes, you can reach that level if you have a large coven, but mostly, covens are 2, maybe 3 hags. In you would think. I mean, Shakespeare, 3 hags. The witches.
Yeah. In 5th edition, it is specific to say that the coven is 3 witches. So if you kill one of them, they would be especially annoyed at you. And if they did recruit a 3rd one again, that would be what would make it so dangerous. Now, one thing I've seen, which I love the idea of, is because, remember, there are multiple different hags of multiple different levels. You kill a green hag, and then its sister, the night hag, comes after you. And then its sister, the swamp hag, comes after you. And all sorts of things going further and further up. And then maybe after all of them are dead, a coven of the higher level hags really get pissed off at you for continuing to kill their sisters. So there's a lot of fun ways that you can play around with it. Now, do you want to go into that? Like you said, it wasn't very devastating, but you want to go into that touch thing.
Yeah. So they have a Betrayal Touch. If you do not see the hag as an enemy, in other words, she she changed her appearance, and she touches you, you will get a -4 circumstance penalty to your saving throw on her enfeebled humors attack, which is any one of her attacks, or if she exhales her noxious fumes. And the enfeebled humor is just a DC 20 fortitude save. With the -4, it does become more powerful for a 4th level creature, but it only enfeebles one for a day. I mean, it's a huge penalty for your fighter and barbarian, but not so much for the wizard or the bards of the
It's
party.
still a pretty big deal to be enfeebled one for a day.
Right.
And the thing is that also, again, brings in the aspect. Remember, Hansel and Gretel didn't think the witch was evil, even when she looked like a witch. She had to do something go a little further to make it seem like she was actually evil. So, manipulation, storytelling, that's the important idea when you're working with a nice green hag.
And in the Pathfinder 2e, they even say that the Green Hag hates beauty, hates goodness and righteousness, and she will actually choose not to kill them, but choose to somehow gain control of them and have them become malicious and betray the loved ones, so they despise the beauty and the goodness of that individual, which is an interesting twist and an interesting character role-playing aspect to add to any campaign.
Yeah, and that's again, it's fun. It's an interesting character concept, and it brings in the witch without necessarily being the witch character class, which doesn't even exist in D&D 5th edition. Right. Anyway, let us know your opinion of the witch. Let us know if you fought the witch before. Let us know if you agree or disagree with our opinion. Overall, we forgot to mention, what do you think overall? Which one do you like a little bit better? I think they're both close enough in line.
I think they are both close enough that, like I said in the beginning, there's really no preference between one or the other.
Yeah, I agree. This is one of the ones where this goes as, like, because of the extra information of the Coven, 5th edition does go a little above and beyond its normal ways, and Pathfinder 2 did a good job of doing it as well. So I'm not going to say either one did a better job. I think they did a appropriately good job both ways.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely agree with that. So thank you very much. I'm Boris from Boredom Sated.
I'm Jonathan from Boredom Sated. Remember to like, subscribe, all that jazz, and we'll see you next time.